Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com, as well as the YouTube channel and NoDQ&A videos affiliate, ringsidenews.com. A very dramatic Sunday night for fans of WWE and The Walking Dead. If you're a fan of Walking Dead and you want to hear my thoughts on that episode from Sunday night, make sure you go to facebook.com/AaronRift. You can add me. We can discuss Walking Dead, WWE, and various other topics. But enough of that. Let's stick to the wrestling here. Got a lot of your questions here to get through. First one today comes from Beast Slayer. What a shock. What's your opinion of Vince McMahon's reaction to the blood in the main event? I can totally understand WWE having the no blood policy when it comes to protecting the health and safety of your performers. I think that makes a lot of sense to not have blood in that regard. Now, I like blood. Like everyone else, I feel blood adds dramatic effect to matches, and I think it gets you more into the match and it helps tell a story when it's used properly. When guys just bleed for no reason every single television show, it has no meaning, and the cats are fighting. Oh my god, cats are fighting in the background. Anyways, let's get back on topic here before I completely lose it. I can understand Vince being upset about blood in the Hell in a Cell match if it's for health and safety reasons. As far as a PG rating goes and having a blood ban because of the PG rating, that's a little bit over the top, because in a real fight, guys are going to bleed. It's going to happen. Now, maybe Undertaker and Brock Lesnar should not be stiffing each other, purposely trying to cut each other open the hard way. Maybe they should use blood capsules. But maybe they don't do that because it doesn't look realistic enough. But I would like to see blood used every now and then if it's done safely. As far as bringing the doctor out there and him coming inside the cell, that took away from the match. I don't think that should have been done. Once again, I understand looking out for the health and safety, but this is a Hell in a Cell match, and nobody's supposed to get into the cell. These guys are supposed to fight to the very end, and you have a doctor coming in there. That's really the only negative in that entire match, in my opinion, having that doctor come out and checking on them in a Hell in a Cell match. Next question here from Corby W. Do you think fans would be disappointed if WWE would go to TV 14 again? Because these marks say everything was better. Changing the rating of a show isn't going to make much of a difference. It's the quality of the product. A good story can be PG. A good story could be TV 14. If it was TV 14, you'd have a little bit more creative freedom, but you shouldn't have to rely on just simply pushing the envelope to create good storytelling. You should be able to tell a good storyline without using the shortcuts, so to speak. So, in my opinion, the rating doesn't matter. I thoroughly enjoy late 80s, early 90s WWF, and that was geared towards kids. It was a very family-friendly product, with a few exceptions, like Jake Roberts using his snake on the Macho Man Randy Savage. But for the most part, it was very clean-cut back in those days, and they had no blood back then too. And it was very entertaining for the most part. So it's all a matter of creating interesting characters, interesting storylines, and just being creative. And it shouldn't matter what the rating is. So fans that say, oh, if it was TV 14, it would be better. That's not the case. I mean, it was TV 14 in 2004, 2005, and there were a lot of bad moments on television in WWE back then. So it doesn't make that much of a difference. Alright, this one comes from @MrPanda316. What is the best and worst matches from the Undertaker and Brock Lesnar feud? Well, the best matches would have to be the two Hell in a Cell matches, 2002 and the match at this year's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. The worst match, hate to say it, WrestleMania 30. It should have been the best match between Brock Lesnar and Undertaker, but it was a huge letdown, and that was due to the crowd not being into it and fans just not buying into Brock Lesnar as a credible threat to The Undertaker's streak. Now, could it have been done differently? Could they have built it up better? Maybe. Maybe they could have had Brock Lesnar go on more of a rampage. Maybe he shouldn't have lost to John Cena in his first match back. Who knows? But, it's too late to go back on it now, and it is what it is. So, as much as I hate to say it, WrestleMania 30 was the worst of the bunch between them. Even worse than the Biker Chain match at No Mercy 2003. And that was a decent match, but yeah, I'd say WrestleMania was worse. Alright, this one comes from Isaac Rahman. Hey Aaron, what are your thoughts on how Hell in the Cell ended? Do you see a compelling program for the Wyatt family being developed? I liked the ending because it built up Survivor Series, and I know some people out there were not happy about the Wyatt family coming out, and it's vintage Bray Wyatt to cause controversy at the end of a pay-per-view, but I thought it was well done, and at least he didn't interfere in the match. At least that whole angle took place after the match, and it made logical sense because Bray Wyatt lost at WrestleMania, so in the storyline, it makes sense for him to want to come out and get his payback on The Undertaker with his extended Wyatt family now of 4 guys. And, this is a perfect lead-in for Survivor Series. You can do a 4-on-4 match, and we'll see how things play out on Raw and the upcoming TV shows. I think that this could be a very interesting storyline, although I'm guessing in the end the Wyatt family is going to lose to Undertaker's team. Some people out there feel the Wyatt family should be pushed stronger. But, being in the main event with The Undertaker, that's pretty big by itself. Alright, this next one comes from Rigger. Well, Aaron, why didn't Billy Gunn make it higher in WWE? He had the look and talent. Was it drugs or politics or both? I do not think politics had anything to do with it. I think it was for the simple fact that Billy Gunn just did not get over that much past his association with the DX faction. I think he was considered cool by association. He came out there with the Road Dogg. He said suck it. He had Mr. Ass on his tights. And he was getting over because he was surrounded by guys that were over and arguably more talented, whether it was Road Dogg in terms of mic work, or X-Pac, who was, really great worker, or Triple H, who was both great talker, great worker. Billy Gunn, when he broke off on his own, just didn't have enough of the charisma to really take that next step towards the top in WWE. WWE gave him a big push. They gave him the King of the Ring. They put him in a feud with The Rock. And The Rock just completely outshined him in every way, and Billy Gunn did not stand out as a singles competitor. Just didn't work out. Billy Gunn's best success was when he was associated with other people, whether it was Bart Gunn in the Smoking Guns, or with Chuck when they were Billy and Chuck. He really excelled as a tag team wrestler, and when they put him in singles matches, he just didn't get a main event level reaction from the fans. The fans just didn't have that much invested in him. So, just didn't work out with Billy Gunn. Alright, this one comes from Mr. Yuck. What are the chances Beer Money will be in WWE? Your thoughts on James Storm? Does his character sort of mirror Stone Cold? I feel that they're very different. The only similarity is they like to drink beer and they're rednecks, but to me that's really the only similarities between the two characters. As far as Beer Money, I really hope we'll get to see Bobby Roode in a WWE ring, and he'll get the same opportunity to be on NXT and hopefully on the main roster. I mean, of all the guys in TNA that were not stars in WWE, I think Bobby Roode's definitely at the top of the list of guys that should get the chance in WWE. But I'd be surprised if the Beer Money team reformed in WWE. I think that WWE would not do something that was already done in TNA by having them as a tag team. I think Bobby Roode would be a lot better coming in and just being his own singles superstar. In my opinion, that's the best way to utilize him. Putting him in a tag team, I don't see that happening. Alright, this one comes from Jordy. I know it will never happen, but when, in your opinion, do you think John Cena should have turned heel over the last decade? When they did that whole embrace the hate angle with Kane, I thought that would have been a good opportunity to turn John Cena. Actually, I think the best opportunity would have been after WrestleMania 28. When The Rock beat John Cena, they could have done this downward spiral angle with John Cena. Brock Lesnar came in. You could have had Brock Lesnar beat John Cena, so Cena would have lost 2 pay-per-views in a row, and he really would have been able to start second-guessing himself, and you could have done this storyline similar to Bret Hart when he turned heel. It was a long process of just one thing happening after another that got Bret Hart more and more frustrated, and finally he just snapped. And I think that would have been a perfect way to turn John Cena heel, but they chose not to go in that direction. He lost to WrestleMania, and he had to get his win back at the Extreme Rules pay-per-view against Lesnar, and WWE had to keep him as the superhero that never gives up, hustle, loyalty, respect, sell the t-shirts, do the Make-A-Wish Foundation appearances, and just keep the ball rolling as long as they could. And that's what WWE decided to do, and they're a highly successful company, so what do I know? Alright, got one more question here from Harry Flynn. What was the best thrown together tag team? I say Beer Money, and thoughts on Big Show's ECW title reign in 2006. Best thrown together tag team off the top of my head, I would say Team Hell No, because they were like the ultimate odd couple team. You know, they were feuding against each other, and you know, you never thought that the two of them would make a successful tag team, but they made it work. They had some extremely entertaining segments as a team, all the therapy segments and going to the restaurant. I thought it was great. You know, it was a real highlight of WWE during that period when they were a team. So I would go with Team Hell No as the best so-called thrown together team. And Big Show being ECW champion, I try to forget that whole run of ECW. I mean, it was pretty much a disaster. And, you know, I think the sooner Big Show lost the title, the better. You know, Big Show, when you think of ECW, Extreme Championship Wrestling, you don't really think of the Big Show as champion. And, you know, I was already tired of Big Show at that point. I think it was good that he walked away from the business at that point. I think it was good that he took some time off. You know, his character was just completely stale. You know, he'd gone back and forth between heel and face, and you know, it was time for him to walk away. So him as ECW champion, I like to try and forget about that as much as possible. I actually got one more here from Jake. Would a major company-wide storyline about the independent contractor debate / potential unionization of talent work in WWE? I do not see WWE ever going in that direction, because it's a very touchy subject with a lot of people, and I really don't think WWE wants to draw attention to that. And in my opinion, it's slim to none that something like that would ever happen. Could it work? I mean, who knows? But I doubt WWE is going to make any kind of real life changes in that direction. So there's no point. It's not in WWE's best interest to make a storyline out of that. So no, I don't think that will happen, and I'm not sure it would work even if they did try it. I just think it would be bad for the company to go in that direction, because it's such a touchy subject in real life. Alright, that'll wrap it up for this edition of NoDQ&A Video. Subscribe at youtube.com/NoDQCAW, and stay tuned this week for more videos. See you next time.